I think the most important success, the most important achievement of United for Wildlife Financial Task Force has been getting illegal wildlife trafficking recognized as the serious financial crime that it is. When we started just over 3 years ago, our sense was that illegal wildlife trafficking was a serious organized crime, was a serious cross-border crime, alongside other significant financial crimes, but it was long ignored as a financial crime. So our biggest objective in the early days and throughout, and it remains an important objective, is just raising awareness of illegal wildlife trafficking as a significant financial crime. I understood that the FATF, as the leading anti-money laundering standard setter in the world, would be a hugely important partner in this work. And so we've worked very closely with the FATF since our early days, and have done everything we can to support the FATF in their important work, also seeking recognition of IWT as a financial crime. And so the FATF's 2020 report on illegal wildlife trafficking, the first of its kind for the FATF, coming out of the Secretariat, as well as 3 lead nations in Botswana, China, and the UK, co-authoring that report. Hugely important moment in the progress that we and others have made in addressing illegal wildlife trafficking. I think the most important thing we've done is bringing that awareness to the world with financial institutions, with governments, including FIUs and law enforcement, supporting NGOs, and hopefully to the public as well. Our goal was never, and our mission, our teachings were never to ask banks and other financial institutions to prioritize illegal wildlife trafficking over other significant financial crimes, such as human trafficking, arms trafficking, narcotics trafficking. It wasn't saying you've got to make this the priority and divert resources and investment into this. It was much more simply to say you need to recognize this as the significant financial crime that it is and incorporate it into your financial crime compliance program. So financial institutions invest a huge amount of money in their financial crime compliance programs. And our effort has been to ask those financial institutions to make sure that IWT is also included in that existing program. Don't create a new program. Don't create a separate program. That's the last thing we want, because we are very aware, for example, of the high levels of convergence of illegal wildlife trafficking with other financial crimes. So the important part, we think, is to just incorporate it into your existing program. Yes, I'm a huge advocate of public-private partnerships, and both I've spent the last 5 to 8 years as Group General Counsel at Standard Chartered Bank, helping to form and support public-private partnerships across our markets. I firmly believe, and I think anyone who participates in them, from the government and from the private sector and from the NGO sector, will attest to the fact that it's the most effective way of identifying and combating financial crime is through the use of financial information sharing partnerships. But if you break down the silos and you bring the data together, you get a much fuller, more robust picture of the criminal activity, of the links, of the extent of the activity. And so every public-private partnership that does that sees the results very quickly. And so we, as the United for Wildlife, in trying to address this problem quickly, because we are dealing with protected species whose numbers are dangerously low and close to extinction, we don't think we have the luxury of time. So as we think about trying to bring a level of urgency to this problem and to the solution, we'd like to see this work happening in public-private partnerships. So bringing IWT into those public-private partnerships to turbocharge the response to this problem. There's some great work going on in a number of countries. That includes my home country of the United States, where there is a particularly strong legislative authorization for information sharing among financial institutions for the sole purpose of identifying and reporting financial crime. And that's a provision called 314B. And using 314B, financial institutions, with the support of the United States FIU, FinCEN, and US law enforcement, including US Fish and Wildlife, have done some really great work. Australia has done great work in that regard as well through their public-private partnership called the FinTel Alliance. And that's really notable, and they've done some great standalone looking at the problem of illegal wildlife trafficking through an Australia lens. And then most recently, that is also happening very robustly in South Africa through their new public-private partnership called SAMLIT. They formed an illegal wildlife trafficking expert working group early on in the existence of SAMLIT that focused on IWT, again, with a country lens or a regional lens, but in particular a country lens from South Africa. They recently issued their report, but more importantly, and equally importantly, they've been doing actual casework and bringing the data from financial institutions together with the law enforcement work and seeing an increase in filings from financial institutions, suspicious activity reports, and seeing better results in the cases. Tone at the top and leadership engagement in this work is hugely important and can really increase the attention, increase the effectiveness, and the speed of the response of a financial institution. I don't think this issue or these types of issues, fighting financial crime, should be left just to the compliance function. The compliance function has a hugely important role to play, but so does the entire firm. So do bank tellers, so do relationship managers. And the best way to activate that network of people across a financial institution is from the leadership and from the tone at the top. So raising awareness across the firm, I think, is a really effective way of improving the efficacy of all of the work that's happening, including from the compliance function. And a number of institutions have done that. I'm very proud that our institution, Standard Chartered Bank, has done it, but a number of other institutions have done it as well, have made this, have brought a call to arms across their network through leadership. And I think that's really helpful. Explain what the problem is, highlight the role that financial institutions play, and invite colleagues to support this effort in lots of ways, not just through the compliance function, but throughout the institution, including through employee volunteering efforts.